Without further ado, let's bring up our next comic. His name's John Spurgfin.
Thank you, Comedy Works. I'm excited to be here tonight because I get to tell you about some dumb shit. So recently, I chaperoned a Catholic teen dance. Yeah, this isn't exactly my scene. Now, I don't even want to explain how I got there. But, I don't drink in the mornings anymore. And I've deleted the Tinder app off my phone. But while I'm there, one of the responsibilities, what they're telling me I need to do is make sure the kids don't dance too close. Make sure they're not grinding all up on one another. I was like, no. I'm not going to do that. But they were like, no, it's easy. Just tell them to leave a little room for Jesus. Just leave a little room for Jesus. But why would Jesus want to get sandwich danced between two teenagers? That was my question. So recently, some of my friends decided they needed to talk to me about their problems with my drinking. Or no, my problems with I guess it was all mine. They seemed fairly involved. So it's the day after a wedding, and specifically, we're talking about the possibility, or more likely the probability, of blacking out. And they're like, do you ever black out when you drink, John? But it's not like I'd remember that anyway, right? So, no. And they're like, what about last night, John? Do you remember last night? You were running around the dance floor doing an obscene amount of jumping sidekicks. Do you remember that? I was like, oh shit, I don't remember that at all. I mean, I remember doing an appropriate amount. We were in Mexico. I was wearing a lucha libre mask. Besides, I was just making sure there was enough room for Jesus. Somebody's got to do the Lord's work. The Lord works in mysterious ways. So I used to be a farmer. I wasn't a very good farmer. And farmers get up early, but I was a farmer. And my niece and nephew used to like to ride around with me when I was working. And one day, my niece at the time, she's about 3, and we're taking a load of water out to the cattle. And we're driving in this old grain truck. It's a 1957 grain truck, and this is like 2 years ago, so it's a little outdated, with a 1,000-gallon water tank strapped to the back. And as we're going up this one particularly steep incline, I notice in the rearview mirror, the water tank just start to slide a little bit, then a little bit more, and then all the way off, and just crashes and spills and breaks. And I was like, well, what I wanted to say was shit, obviously, but my niece was with me, and I wanted to be a good impression. So I was like, shucks. And by this time, she's crawled up on the seat and is looking out the back window. She just looks at me and is like, yeah, shucks and shit. She emphasized that too, as if to say like, look, bitch, I know when it's appropriate to say shit. Right now. Right now. Touche, Andy, touche. Let's see. So I went to a music festival recently, and I did the whole thing, camped out the whole time. It was great. But one thing I noticed, and maybe it was just this festival, but there was a ton of kids around. Just kids everywhere. And at first I was a little put off by this, but the more I thought about it, I was like, no. This is a great place for kids. It's a safe environment. There's plenty of room for them to play Frisbee. The only thing you have to look out for is that one of them doesn't eat too many of the wrong type of candy. If you know what I mean, Colorado. never see you guys again.
Hey, that was John Spurgfin. Like I said, he'll never